Hey, this is Gruesome. I'm Matt,
Daniel.
Gus.
and you're watching The Age of Metal. At least that's what I've been told.
Apparently.
Hey everybody, this is Stephanie here with The Age of Metal, and I'm here right now with Gruesome. So how are you guys?
Gruesome.
You're feeling very gruesome right now.
We're good. I think we're stoked. This is like our second show, so we're pretty psyched up.
And I mean, you guys mentioned that you are playing on tour right now, and I know it's only the second show, so you probably haven't really experienced, too much on this tour, but overall, do you have any expectations or anything?
Well, it's not really a tour. We're just playing some shows, but I mean, as long as people come out and enjoy, some old school death metal, then we're happy,
So, I mean, I'm not sure how often you guys have been able to play the Gruesome songs live, but I mean, are you excited? Do you love playing Gruesome live? Do you want to never play Gruesome again, or how do you feel?
Fuck these guys. Out of their shit.
I'm out of here.
I think it's interesting because Matt was able to get so close to sounding like actual death songs that, at least speaking as a drummer, it sort of feels like I'm playing in death. So it's really super fun for me. I'm enjoying the shit out of playing these songs. And we're actually doing a couple of death songs, so spoiler alert. Well, no one's gonna watch this today, so you know what I'm saying. No one knows.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm actually going to be publishing this like right after the interview, so I'm joking, no. But so they're playing some death songs, which is pretty cool. Do you guys think that you'll be playing death songs for every live show, or is it just a special thing you're doing?
I would say maybe until we have like 3 records. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be. Maybe until we have like 3 records, then, I mean, we only have an album and a demo, and all the songs from the demo are on the album. And so being put in a position to headline is sort of weird as a band with only one album. but luckily, because we are sort of a tribute thing, it makes complete natural sense to throw in some death songs. So, I mean, I don't know. I would be hard pressed to see a situation where it wouldn't make sense for us to do it, you know. But yeah, tonight we're playing every single song we have. So if there was one song you wanted to hear on the album, like, we'll get to it, you know. It's just because, I mean, that's all of our material right there. So, which is kind of neat. It's kind of neat to be able to play every single song and not have to worry about leaving anything out. It's like the opposite of my other band, Exhumed, where we have like 5 albums and like 1 million demos, and it's like, you know, we could play for 3 hours. Well, we can't because I'll fall over. But even if we, you know what I mean? Like, we could just keep going and going, and we still wouldn't cover. Everybody. Right. Because I'm one of those dickhead fans that wants to hear the one stupid bonus track on that one demo that nobody has or whatever. Like, I'm that guy. So I'm the difficult to satisfy person. So everyone that likes the band will be at least satisfied by the song choice. The performance, who knows? So.
And I know that you guys mentioned that even though you're not a cover, like a death cover band, but you're technically a death tribute band. So, and you, from my knowledge, you guys are probably the first. So how does that feel? I mean, do you feel like you're effectively conveying whether it's the message or the vision that Chuck had?
I mean, you know, I don't want to say what vision Chuck had, because obviously he's not here, and that's just kind of speculation. I mean, I think we're kind of paying homage to the style and trying to, you know, get into the same kind of wheelhouse. I mean, you know, I don't want to say something about his vision, because I think that sounds like pretty arrogant on our parts. I mean, to me, it's just something done as fans. And obviously we put a lot of work in it. We try to do it well, and we try to be respectful, which is a weird thing for a heavy metal band, to focus on being respectful. But I think the real test to me has been that people have responded positively to it and they've accepted it. Because the last thing that I wanted is for people to think that, oh, here's some dick trying to cash in on this fucking poor dead guy. You know what I mean? Like, what an asshole move. And that's one of the reasons why we've explicitly sort of made it really clear that, yes, we know we sound like that. That's what we're trying to do. Like, our logo is similar. We use the same cover artist. We use the same font on the fucking album liners. Like, so people can say, if they think the band sucks, that's fine with me. Like, that doesn't bother me. But if they think that we're trying to be disrespectful and take advantage of someone's legacy, then that would make me sad. But so far, the response has been really much more positive than I expected, and people seem to have taken it more seriously and have been more stoked about it than I kind of anticipated. So I feel, in that respect, I feel that it's been very effective. And, you know, we did sign a 3-record deal, and we do have stuff coming up in the future. And the good thing about the Death catalog is that it's pretty varied and spans quite a long time, so that there's more material for us to kind of go through and do our take on, and kind of try to keep that sound alive, you know, because that's really the whole point of it, you know.
Awesome, perfect. And now I know that you're mentioning, you know, that you do have a deal with Relapse Records, and that you are going to be releasing several albums. But for Savage Land, and I know that when people ask about this, they mainly focus on death, but overall, do you feel like you accomplished your goals and your personal vision for Savage Land?
Yeah, I mean, I think going into it from a sonic perspective, the fact that Matt was able to write riffs and music and even lyrics that so closely, for me, I mean, like, when I heard the demos, I was like, dude, this guy's having seances with Chuck. So, but the blueprint was there, so I knew going into it what I wanted the drums to sound like, what the guitars needed to sound like, and having a guy like Jared Pritchard mix the record, who's a Florida death metal veteran guy, like, all the pieces. I felt like for this to succeed, literally every single piece of the puzzle had to fall into place. And I mean, absolutely had to have Ed Repka do the cover, He nailed the logo. Even the album layout had to look kind of old school, and like I wanted people to, when they got this record, to like portal back in time to 1988, 89, and like relive those years. And I personally feel like we kind of nailed it. Like,
yeah, I think we came as close as possible. You know, I mean, it was interesting because Dan and Gus both helped engineer the record, and then Jared came in, and we did. I think the way that it came out is kind of like how it's more like how you remember Leprosy, maybe, than what Leprosy actually sounds like, because we did an initial mix that Jared did that sounded. The mix was extremely similar, and it was weird hearing it again 20 whatever years later, because you're like, wow, this sounds so weird. Like, nobody makes records that sound like this anymore. And so we kind of tweaked it a little bit, still keeping that vibe, but not making it a complete replica.
I think it sounds more like spiritual healing.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's kind of like the first.
Yeah, those 2 albums for sure.
It's like the first 3 albums filtered sonically through spiritual healing, I guess. You know. I mean, that wasn't necessarily the exact vision, but I mean, that's just kind of how it ended up, you know? So.
And I know that, well, I mean, from what Gus mentioned, that you wrote, you know, a large part of the music. And what's the difference between writing for Gruesome and writing for Exhumed?
Well, the only way that I can think to explain it is like, I mean, if you're familiar with what method acting is, right? Like, method acting is when an actor doesn't try to act. He just says, like, wakes up and says, today I am the character. I am Wolverine, or whoever he's playing, whatever. I like that Wolverine is somehow the first movie person I think of. Anyway.
Because you wake up and think I'm going to be Wolverine today.
That's what I think most days, yeah. But to me, it was very different, because with Exhumed, like, you know, it's a sound that I've sort of cultivated for a long time, and obviously it's based more on like what you'd consider like self-expression or whatever. And this was more based on trying to get into somebody else's mindset. And, you know, there's a bunch of stuff on the record that I would, just arrangement-wise, I would never go to the next part, or I would never use this kind of break in any of my other bands. I'm like, this, because it's something that Chuck would do. Like, that's what, you know what I mean? And everything from every single note to every single riff to each change and to how long the songs are and the order that the songs are put together in. I mean, that is such a key aspect of what makes death sound like death. I mean, I could have, you know, written the same riffs and then put the songs together differently, and it wouldn't, people would be like, oh, it's old school death metal. They wouldn't be like, dude, it's like death. It would just, it's like, it sounds like Massacre, Obituary, Death, you know, Pestilence, whatever. And there's a lot of meticulous kind of effort put into that. But it was fun at the same time. It was really fun to kind of like try to, you know, walk in somebody else's shoes, and it's almost like an exercise more than like an inspiration. It's more like a, so how would Chuck approach a song like this? Like, what kind of riff would he do next? Like, would he, you know, that kind of thing. So it's a totally different process, and it was really challenging and fun, actually.
Awesome. So, viewers, you have your death metal method actor right here, whether he's Chuck Schuldiner or Wolverine. Then you know this man could be any character he wants. And I know, well, first I'm going to ask you two questions. One, how much influence or what was your part in the writing process? And 2, you know, whether it's the writing or the playing, like what's the difference between the bands that you're in?
For me, as a drummer, it's sort of a similar thing. I came from Malevolent Creation, which was a really fast, like, grind thrash death metal band. And when I heard his songs, it did. I just started to, I tuned my drums differently. I played them completely differently, super simplified everything I did. And I just kind of became like an AC/DC drummer in death metal, which is, it's what the music called for, like playing these kind of stupid, simple beats. But if I would have gone overboard it would have killed it. You know what I mean? Like you really had to. Everything had to like Dan. Like his job was to mimic some Guitar Heroes solos. I mean, that's some serious shit. You know what I mean? Like he kind of had a really tougher job than I did. I had to dumb down my playing, and he had to like assume a role or two, because it was James Murphy and Chuck that he was trying to emulate. I had me and him had to, me and him did the Rick Rod solos, which are just you know. He actually had to think about it. So I mean, that's I think we all kind of method acted on this. You know what I mean? But I think like what he was saying, a lot about what made his songs so much like Death, I didn't even realize when I was first hearing them, but it's the arrangement, really. The fact that Chuck didn't really, until some of the first record he did, but he didn't ever do like verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It was like series of riffs, solo break, repeat series of riffs, song ends.
Our trade secret.
It's Chuck's secret, but
We all know it by now.
people are going to start ripping off Death and Gruesome, and then there's going to be another band. I don't know.
It'll be like people start calling it the Death of Gruesome.
The Deathsome.
Deathsome.
We're Deathsome. So you want to answer your part of that?
Well, I mean, as far as my playing goes, yeah, how to like really learn like you know, listen to a lot of James Murphy solos, which you know is obviously one of the best death metal guitar players ever, and Chuck's solos, which they're really, you know, he had his own style for sure, and you know, it was definitely challenging, and you know, but it was really fun. You know, I love doing, you know, like if you're gonna emulate people, it better be, you know, some of the best people, you know. And you know, as far as everything else, yeah, I mean, me and Gus, Matt wrote songs, and me and Gus kind of like, you know, jammed and kind of figured out, you know, tempos and stuff like that, or maybe we should change these and type of thing. You know, kind of like, you know, make everything gel together, and yeah, I mean, as far as playing, you know, I guess it just like probably these two guys, it's not really what we play in our other bands or like the stuff we like to play. Like, you know, like I'm more like I'm playing Possessed, which is kind of like old school death metal thrash type thing, but still a lot of speed picking. It's still like a lot of, you know, fast music. And you know, I'm mostly like into technical death metal and brutal death metal and stuff like that. So you're not real technical, yeah. So
brutal technical.
So yeah, so I'm more you know, used to like crazy speeds and blast beats. So you know, took me a while to like, you know, be able to like slow down and play it, you know, the right way to make, you know, the right tribute to the original sound. So I mean, I think it's been really fun for us to like work on this project, because musically and, you know, music's great, the style's great, so you know, I mean, it's
Awesome, perfect. Yeah. And I'm also a vocalist nut, so I want to ask about the vocals. I mean, well, I guess Matt, I'll direct the question to you. They're completely different than what you do with Exhumed. So, I mean, did you have to learn like new vocal techniques, or did you always have those Chuck growls in you?
Well, in my thrash band Decapitator, the vocal range is not too different. It's kind of more like Jeff from Possessed or like Sheepdog from Razor. So it's more that kind of 80s grit. But I mean, to me, honestly, I think the vocals are the weakest point of the album. I mean, I did the best that I could, but I feel that that's where there's the most room for improvement, because it was really difficult because my Exhumed voice is closer to Chuck's pitch, so it's a little bit higher, but the timbre is totally different. Where I feel like the timbre of the growls on the Gruesome record is the same as Chuck's, but the pitch is lower. So
yeah, but that's the leprosy pitch.
It's still lower. I mean, to me, they're too low. But Chuck also has a hoarseness to his voice that's really difficult to emulate. It's the same kind of hoarseness that you hear Martin Van Drunen from Pestilence has.
You got it on a couple of them screams, dude, are pretty fucking.
Like I said, I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, fish for compliments. I'm just saying that that's where I feel there's the most room for improvement. and I definitely feel that I gave the best performance I could.
Fix it, bitch.
I'm working on it, and the first show that we did, I watched some of the videos back, and I was like, okay, all right, this is what I want to work on, and that's what I was doing at rehearsal the last couple of days, and I think it's getting better. But Chuck has a very difficult voice for me anyway to sort of sit in that range. Like some people like Millie from Creators, like that's for me that's a snap, or like Tom from Sodom, I can do that all day long. Chuck is a little bit different, and that's part of what made Death great. He's got a unique songwriting style, a unique lead style, and a unique vocal style. And there's lots of bands that were heavier or faster or more brutal or had gorier album covers, but I think that's what sustained the band was that he had a very unique voice all the way around. But the vocals, it definitely is it's an adjustment, and it's kind of just feeling where you're kind of grinding in your throat, and I don't know how it works. I just do it. Right, I do it, and I'm like, well, that was wrong, and I do it different, and it's better. So yeah.
Do you think we'll ever hear Sound of Perseverance, falsetto, growl, weird thing that he did?
Nope.
No.
No, sorry if anybody was looking forward to that.
Honestly, that whole style, it's too technical for me. I don't even think I could play those songs. I mean, I did like Bite the Pain with Death to All and stuff, but like, there's some of the stuff on that record that's really over the top playing wise, and I don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight kind of thing.